Hey class, and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing this class to help you guys understand the home buying process from beginning to end. It's like little spider web thing down here first. So I think of myself as the head coach, Kasey, okay? Just like Megan, the stallion. She's the hot girl coach. I'm the real estate coach, okay? The head coach keeps everyone else in line. And they have assistant coaches, right? So I have assistant coach lender here, assistant coach inspector here, and assistant coach title company. And yes, they are all with K's, okay, obviously. So now what the lender is responsible for is helping you out financially, getting you financing for your home, okay? They're also going to ask you for a lot of documents such as W-2s, tax returns, paycheck stubs, current addresses, explanation of bank account statements, etc., etc., and there could be more. Okay, and they're also going to run your credit. So this is how I like to look at a coach's job. So of course, if you've ever played sports, if you are trying out for the basketball team or football team, baseball team, soccer team, softball team, any team that requires physical ability, there will always be a physical test needed. And that's where your credit score comes in. That's the test that they will run to see if you're able to get in this race and what position you will be playing in this race, or if you need to go back to a trainer and train a little bit more with your credit score. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So that's the job of the lender. The inspector is basically like your field doctor or your athletic. They may not know exactly how to fix that one problem, but they have a general idea of what's going on with your health. So what the inspector, the assistant coach inspector, plays two roles. So not only does this coach inspect the other team and see where the other team has strengths and weaknesses by inspecting the home, okay, so they look at the home that you're going to be purchasing, but they also come back and help you better understand what needs to be fixed. So they're responsible for repairs for the home and telling you exactly what's going on with the home. And then you have the assistant coach title company. Now they work on the title work of your home, and they also know the exact dollar amount that you will need to bring to closing. So they're very important. Your title company and your lender will work together to get us through the finish line. Now, on the sidelines over here, you have your repair person and your engineers just in case you need them. The reason why they're on the sideline is because we're hoping and praying in the perfect world that this house does not need any major repairs that need to be done before closing. But you also want to make sure that the homeowner that you are working with has your documents that you need. For instance, if there's a foundational issue or anything like that that needs an engineer, they have paperwork so you don't have to call the engineer, right? So that's why they are on the sidelines. Now, let's just run through scenarios of what it takes to get to the finish line of closing, right? So up here, I have 3 different variations of ways you can get to closing. Number 1 is my favorite, right? The one at the top, the purple. The reason why this one's my favorite is because this is the perfect order to do it, okay? You talk to your lender or you talk to a credit repair person. For instance, if you know that you may have a couple of points on your credit score that need to be fixed or changed, or if you've had some kind of past financially that you want to get taken care of, I would suggest to speak to a counselor, a financial counselor, or your lender, your bank, your credit union. That's what I mean by lender, to learn what it's going to take to get your credit score back right, as well as the finances you will need for purchasing a home, okay? So whether that's a down payment that you need number-wise that you want to save, there's a certain credit score that will get you qualified for a certain loan type that you want to participate in. They will help you with that before anything else starts. So hopefully by the time you contact Kasey, yes, there are K's in this, then you'll already have your pre-approval letter getting taken care of. You'll have everything on the financing side. More than likely, they'll already have most of the documents that you need in order to purchase your home, and everything from the time that you everything after a couple of steps from here they'll already have documents that you need, and you won't have to stress about getting them those tax documents, those paycheck stubs, those W-2s, different things like that. So after you contact Kasey, you share with me, and here's my contact information below just in case you need it. You share with me what you're looking for in a home, where you would like to be, and what are absolute necessities in your home, okay? So then we start the home search. We go on a couple of showings. We see which house works best for you. You find out which one is your true home. Water break. Once we find the perfect home, then we submit our offer. Pre-approval will come in. We'll also sit down and go through all of the contract paperwork that it takes, and it is a lot, but it's not as much as it has to take to get to closing. So after we submit the offer, we wait on the homeowner and their agent to go over the offer and accept the offer. That would be ideal, right? However, in the event that the ideal situation does not happen at this point, they will counteroffer with whatever they would like to have, and that's when we as the buyer would review their counteroffer to see if this is something that's doable or something we think is out of the question. So let's say that they either accept our offer or we accept their counteroffer. Then we move forward and we now have a binding contract. From there is when you do inspections. You wait for the inspection to come back to tell us if there are any damages to the home, if we need to pull in some of our sideline people into the inspection process. Hopefully not. And that's when we can determine what's going on with the home. So from there, you go, then an appraiser comes out to your home, and the lender will send out the appraiser. Now you do pay for the inspection before you get the inspection report, okay? But your appraisal cost is put into your closing cost, so you do not pay for that up front. If everything comes back clear with the appraisal, and it's appraised for the value of that we were paying for the house, and everything's all good to go and clear to close, then we will move on to the closing table. And it's great, right? Simple. Now, in the second best scenario, let me not say second best, like it works just as fine. It depends on whichever one that you start with here. Now the third one is we don't want to start there. Okay, that's a no-go. We don't want to start in the third spot. But second, you get in contact with me. Again, here's my email here. Okay, and then you're like, hey Kasey, I'm thinking about buying. What do I need to do? I'm gonna say, boom, here are my assistant coaches for the lenders. You can also contact your own assistant coach with your bank or credit union and find out which one has the best rate for you. Now, this is what I tell everyone else. I always say, do not give out your social security number for them to pull your credit each and every time if you plan on shopping around. What I will say is, you ask them a range of their interest rates. What does that look like? Just find out as much information as you can before you pick one, so that you're not getting your credit pulled at every lender, bringing your credit score down and ultimately hurting you at the closing table. Okay, so after that, after you talk to the lender options, you pick one. I will work with my assistant coach, or if you decide to bring on your own assistant coach, then I will work with them, okay? And then we will get your pre-approval letter letting us know what the max amount is to purchase a home and get that ready. So then we can start our home search during that kind of process, which it shouldn't take anything but a couple of days to go through that process. Do our home search, submit the offer. Now let's say that in a non-ideal world, okay, we submit our offer. Million offers are in. It happens all the time. At least 15 are in, and ours does not get chosen, okay? then we will go back to the home search and start all over, okay? So then we will continue to go through the process like I mentioned earlier with once we find a home, submit the offer, it gets accepted, inspection, appraisal, close, okay? Now let's say that we get to the inspection phase. Let's say we get to the inspection phase and major repairs are needed at this point. So what will happen is they will recommend that something gets repaired or replaced, and then we go from there and asking the seller to fix these items before closing or pay the estimated cost. And if they're saying, okay, we'll do the repairs before closing, we bring in our sideline person, the repair person. Woo! Okay, so after the repair comes out, we go out and we inspect the house. Again, in each of these things, we expect them after or a couple of days before closing. So then it goes to appraisal, close, and we're good to go. Everything's fixed in your home, or enough stuff is fixed for you to be able to move in, and then it could just be painting new things or cosmetic things that need to be updated. Now, let's go to the third area, okay? So this third area that I hope that we never have to visit is that you find a home first. You find your perfect home, okay? And you're like driving around neighborhoods or on Zillow and you're like, this is my home, I got to get this house, okay? And then you contact me, okay? And I'm like, okay, you have this house that you love, right? Yeah, okay, let's see what we can do. We talk to the lender because you haven't gotten a pre-approval letter. So we're trying to hustle and bustle to get everything that you need before we can even submit an offer, really. Allegedly. And then let's say that it takes the lender too long or you don't qualify for that house, then you are now bummed because that is your perfect house. You thought you would qualify and you don't. So then we have to start all the way back over at number one. Planning the appraisal process. So when the appraiser goes out to your home, they determine the value of your home, right? So let's say we offered $300,000 on this home and it appraised at $295,000. I'm just giving you a worst case scenario. I never suggest going over the appraised value. So let's say it comes back $5,000 less than the appraised value. Well, that means that we could either go back to the seller and ask them to come down $5,000, or you would have to front the difference of $5,000 because the bank is not going to fund that $5,000 if the house isn't worth that $5,000. So after you make up your mind on that, then we're good to close. Okay guys, that's the end of today's class. Hopefully this helps you guys out at all. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment them down below or send me a message. Please don't hesitate to do that because I know that buying a house can be overwhelming and you don't want to seem stupid. Please feel free to ask questions, anything at all, and I don't mind going over anything I've already said again in greater detail, just so that you can truly understand exactly what's to come with your home buying process. Again, my contact information is listed down below. I'd love to hear from you and help you out through your process.